The Tennis Warehouse playtesters just wrapped up our playtest of the Adidas Avaluxe. Come see what we thought of this classic shoe with a new name.
These shoes are among my favorites. I've worn them before as the Stella Court, but now the Avaluxe name, but the shoe to me feels the same. The same fit, which runs a little bit long, and I did think about maybe going down a half a size, but I did enjoy the width of the shoe in my regular size, so I opted to stay in it. I really love just the overall comfort of these shoes. The uppers are nice and soft. The cushioning underfoot is really soft, and it's maintained its softness and comfort throughout the duration of the play test. I thought if I cinched up the shoes tightly, I felt secure when I was moving around the court. Both in the forefoot and in the heel. I had no issues when I was pulling on those laces tightly. Traction level, I think maybe it was a little bit on the stickier side, but I had no issues. I never felt stuck. I never felt like I was slipping either, so really happy there. If you're not thinking about traction, to me, that's a good thing. And then durability, I'm seeing a little bit of wear, but not too much. I've been wearing these on the court for at least 10 hours, probably closer to 15, and having no issues. If I did have one downside is that these white-based color shoes are hard to keep clean. I am a toe dragger, and so the toe of my shoe looks a little bit dirty, and the scuffs are really hard to get out, and the mesh is picking up a few dirty marks as well. Overall, these shoes remain among my favorites just for their overall comfort and all-around playability.
This shoe has been called a lot of names in the last 10 years, Stella Court, Stella Barricade, and now it's called the Avaluxe. It's been my favorite shoe, gosh, 10 plus years easily, and I wanted to see if with the new name came any changes, and I'm happy to report that there were no changes, and this shoe feels exactly how I remembered it. Now we'll start with the fit. Now I find this shoe to run about a half size long. I do size down a half size, and that to me is the perfect fit. It's a great medium width, great medium arch, and then I think the toe box is perfect. There's not too much extra room, but it's not too cramped either. So when it came to comfort, which is probably my #1 thing out of this shoe, there's great plush cushioning underneath, but not too much where you feel like you're sitting up too high. The upper is nice and soft, and there's no break-in period, so you can go straight down to the court and play. Another feature I like is the support and stability. I feel nice and secure in these shoes when moving around. The shoes keep my feet secure inside, as well as my ankle. I do use that last eyelid just to get a nice locked in feel. And when it comes to weight, I find this to be the perfect shoe. It's not too heavy and not too light. So it's heavy enough that I get the support and stability I need, but it's light enough that I feel light and quick on the court. With this playtest, I easily put 20-25 hours on this shoe, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that I'm just seeing a slight bit of wear in my high wear areas under my big toe, which it does have a translucent outsole in the colorway we chose. So I do felt like that outsole held up well. I will note that I was seeing some scuffing on the toe bumper, but it just seems to be cosmetic. Overall, the Avaluxe is a high-performing shoe and will remain at the top of my favorites list.
The Adidas Stella Court, which is now called the Adidas Avaluxe, has been one of the most popular tennis shoes for women for a long time, so I was really excited coming into this playtest and see how they perform. When I first put them on, I realized that I needed to go down at least a full size, unfortunately, which is quite unusual for me. But once I found the right size for me, the shoe fit pretty well and I felt really comfortable. Honestly, the highlight of this playtest for me was just how comfortable the shoes felt on my foot. I really enjoyed this nice and plush cushioning in the midsole area, and also this nice boost technology under my heels. I thought comfort levels are absolutely top-notch. I also really enjoyed how light these shoes felt on my feet. They were very light and speedy and allowed me to move nice and fast on court. I definitely enjoyed how nice and close to the ground I felt moving on court. I always had a good idea of where I'm stepping, and I felt nice and connected to the ground. These were some of the highlights for me, but unfortunately there were quite a few downsides to this shoe, at least for me during this playtest. As you can see, I'm wearing some long socks for this playtest, which is quite unusual for me. And the reason I'm doing that is because unfortunately the tongue area here is pretty sharp, and it kept rubbing up against my ankle and it caused some bruising and also some bleeding, which was really uncomfortable. So I had to wear long socks. It's just something to keep in mind. It was kind of surprising for me, honestly. When it comes to stability, unfortunately, I never really felt that these shoes were stable enough. And surprisingly, I don't think it was just due to the softer upper that was a bit too loose for me. I never really felt locked in enough. But I also think that the soft rubbery outsole that comes with this version of the shoe, it was just a bit too plush for me, and it honestly was bending a bit too much. As I was pushing off from my shots, I never really felt like they were rigid enough for me to feel stable. And the shoe was just really bending with my foot, so my feet ended up working a bit too much. And in combination with the soft upper and the soft outsole and it being also really sticky, I just didn't feel locked in enough in my shoes. Now, I will say that my playing style is pretty aggressive when it comes to footwork and movement on court, so I do need something that supports me a bit better. But all in all, I could see why it's super popular amongst women and why they love this really stylish, comfortable, lightweight shoe.
It's been a minute since the first time I've ever played with the Stella Courts. They used to be my favorite shoe back in college, and you guys can imagine how excited I was when I got the chance to play in them one more time with their new name, Adidas Avaluxe. This shoe is definitely everything I remember. It's comfortable, it's breathable, it's light, and it offers a wider toe box compared to other shoes. In terms of the comfort, the shoe is comfortable right away. I didn't need any break in time. I could just get on the court and start playing in them. I do have to say that the tongue does rub a little bit on the front part of the ankle. I didn't have an issue with this since I normally wear long socks, but I wore them once with short socks, and even just walking around in them, I could already feel a little bit of pain in them. In terms of fit and support, this shoe does have a generous toe box, and even though the top part of the shoe is mostly mesh and it's kind of soft, I still felt like the mid area offered great support, especially with that built-in sock system. I felt like the shoe wrapped around my mid area very well. I wasn't moving around in them too much. Even though probably high-level players will struggle with this a little, I thought the shoes were stable enough and support enough just for me. Now, the sizing was a bit of an issue for me too, kind of like the other play testers. For me, I will have to go half size down, but once I did the change, the shoe was very comfortable. I didn't experience any issue with stability and support. It wrapped around my foot very well, and it wasn't too short for me. Now, in terms of durability, the sole did hold itself very well. I did have an issue with the top part, especially on my left foot. Since I slide on the court, I could see a little more burning. So maybe after a couple of slides more, I'll probably be able to make a hole. So for me, that was a little bit of an issue, but the traction seemed to hold itself very well. Regardless of the size of the shoe and the tongue and the kind of like durability issue on the top part of the mesh, I thought the shoes, this new Adidas Avaluxe, were great. It was everything I remember. I'm pretty sure the OG fans for the Stella Courts will be more than happy that Adidas will keep this model going. Thanks for watching, guys. For more information on this shoe or any others, please go to our websites, Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, and Tennis Only.